A beautiful young girl called Snow White once lived in a magnificent castle. Her hair was silky black, her skin was as fair as snow, and her lips was as red as rubies. Each day Snow White and her puppy happily played in the Lord Castle. There they lived with her friend, the gentle king, and her stepmother, the evil queen. The queen owned a magic mirror. Several times a day she asked the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" "You are my queen," the mirror always replied. But each day Snow White grew more and more beautiful. One morning the mirror replied, "My queen, your beauty is grand, but Snow White is the fairest on the land." The queen grew very angry. "What? Snow White is more beautiful than I am? This cannot be." "Huntsman," she screamed, "take Snow White into the forest and kill her." But the kind huntsman could not kill Snow White, so he took her deep into the forest and told her to hide from her stepmother. "Never return to the castle," he said. Alone in the deep, dark forest, Snow White wandered for hours. The trees seemed to come to life. She thought they might reach, but out to grab her. "What am I going to do?" she cried. Snow White was afraid of the whistling wind and the night creatures, but none of them harmed her because she was so sweet and beautiful. As the sun rose, Snow White saw a tiny cottage in the meadow. "Oh, look," she cried to the forest animals. "What a lovely little house. Maybe I can rest there." She ran to the cottage and knocked. No one answered, but the door was open, so she went in. Snow White saw a tiny little table set for several and a huge kettle of stew cooking over a fire. The stew smelled so good, she thought, "No one will mind if I have just a little." After eating, Snow White lay down across the small bed to take some nap. When Snow White awoke, she was surrounded by 7 little men. "Welcome to our home," they cried. "Do not be afraid, we are the 7 dwarfs. You look so pretty and beautiful. We did not want to disturb you." "Thank you," Snow White said shyly. "My name is Snow White," she told the dwarfs how she was forced to hide from her wicked stepmother. "If you let me stay here, I would do your all household work and would cook food for you." The 7 dwarfs agreed to let Snow White stay. They were very much attached to her and began to love her. When they arrived home after a toilsome day, Snow White greeted them with a hot meal and a happy smile. One night, as they sang song in front of a crackling fire, the dwarf told Snow White that her evil stepmother knew where she was. "The queen may try to find you and hurt you," warned the dwarf. "She is a clever witch and can easily disguise herself, so you must not talk to any stranger," they insisted. One day, while the dwarfs were at work, a strange woman came to the cottage selling apples. "Delicious red apple for sale," she cried. "Juicy ripe apple, won't you come out and taste one of my apples?" she asked Snow White. She forgot the warning of 7 dwarfs and opened the door. The forest animals chattered loudly. They knew that the stranger was actually the wicked queen, and the apple that Snow White was about to bite was poisoned. When the dwarfs came home, they found Snow White asleep on the ground. They could not wake her. The wicked queen did this?" cried one of the dwarfs. "Snow White was a friend of all the creatures of the forest," sobbed another dwarf. "We will place her in a crystal box atop the mountain where all can visit her." Every Sunday, the dwarfs visited Snow White. During one of their visits, a handsome prince rode on a white horse. He immediately fell in love with Snow White. "Why is she in a crystal box?" he asked. The dwarf told him about the queen's clever disguise. "We fear Snow White will never awake," they cried. The prince lifted over the crystal cover and took Snow White in his arms. Suddenly she caught, and the piece of the poisoned apple flew from her throat. Then the prince rode with Snow White to his kingdom, where they were married, and the 7 dwarfs used to visit them every Sunday.